Mercy. Hello everybody out there in YouTube land. Man, I'm in Jamestown, North Dakota, don't you know? It is freaking cold up here. I got here to the shipper, got all checked in and everything. They told me I got to pre-cool my trailer to -10 before they'll load me. I said, hell, can I just open up the doors and speed up the process? Oh my God, it's cold up here. Mercy. Well, I got that beer load dropped at Minot, North Dakota, just south of the Canadian border this morning. Yeehaw. Anyway, the Magnum truck that's right here in front of me was the same guy that was right in front of me in Fort Collins, Colorado, picking up a load of beer. Except he wasn't as fortunate on his run up here as I was. He hit a deer, took out part of his left front fender and the bumper on the truck. I asked him, I said, you know, most people use a rifle for that, but if you're going to use a Peterbilt, at least you could strap the deer back there on the catwalk and bring it along, make free breakfast steaks or something with it. He said, I don't think there was a whole lot left of the deer. Oh well. But it is cold. I'm just getting this trailer loaded, gonna run it back to Fargo and pick up me a new trainee when I get into Fargo. So the next video I'll probably be introducing my new trainee. He's not really that new to trucking. He's been driving a little while. He drove OTR for a couple months, been doing LTL, you know, local stuff for a few months here lately, so he's got a little time under his belt. Ought to make my job real easy. Mercy, it is freaking cold out there. But this load I'm picking up, once I get my trainee on board, we're going to North Carolina. Yeah, the dispatcher asked me this morning, he goes, so where do you want to go, Walt? I said, I don't know, what options you got for me to get loaded first thing Friday morning? He goes, I got a load goes to Sumter, Washington. I went, next. He goes, I got a load going to North Carolina. I said, that works for me. Let's go to North Carolina. And of course, y'all calling me the snowman, so probably as soon as I get to North Carolina, they'll have the worst blizzard they ever had. Mercy. Oh, well. You know, I tell you what, you really gotta watch who you listen to here on YouTube. Be real careful about some of the information that you get off of these truckers on YouTube. You really need to vet that information extremely well. Just because you hear some YouTube trucker tell you something doesn't necessarily mean that it's so. You might want to go talk to a couple other hands and find out what they have to say about that. Because there are YouTube truckers out here that's got 2 years experience and think they know everything about the business. Hell, they're lucky to be able to find their own ass to what. 2 years experience out here giving advice. And it'd be one thing, you know, if it was a little standard basic driving tip. But no, the Yahoo I'm thinking about wants you to tell you about how to do the business. Making 6 figures. Give me a frickin' break. I'm winning. Yeah, you already know what I'm talking about. That dude right there, the only thing that he cares about on doing on YouTube is making money. If it ain't YouTube money, he wants your money. This YouTube thing is nothing more than a added income for him. It's real easy to figure out when you're watching YouTube. That's the reason why I don't support people that have monetized channels. If you've got a monetized channel, you're doing YouTube for the money. It's all about the views. It's all about how many people you can get to click to watch on that video. You know, I've got videos that have over 50,000 views. I've never monetized my channel. I don't care to make a dime off of YouTube. This is something I do for fun. This is an interaction that I do to help to give back to the young drivers that are coming in that can kind of see the experience that I go through. Now, I will tell you that I do bash the schools pretty hard. I think that's the biggest crock of crap to ever come down the line, where they want to charge you $5,000, $7,000 or whatever to teach you how to pass the test to get your CDL. What a rip-off that is. And then these companies, these predatory companies that'll help you get your CDL as long as you sign a 1-year contract with them to run for a year at half pay. That's another burr up my saddle. See, this is my pet peeve. I don't like anybody that profits off of another man's back. That's all there is to it. Every man should have the right to call his own price and his own destiny. And to enslave somebody with a contract into intemperitude is just sinfully wrong in my book. Magnum didn't give me squat to come to work for them. I come to work for them because they were absolutely the best choice company I could find. And that's the reason why I wave that Magnum banner, is I want you to have the same success as I do. I'm not going to blow any smoke up your ass. You come to work for Magnum, you're going to make 40 to 50 grand your first year. You're going to have an opportunity to make 85 grand your second year. I don't know a lot of companies that do that. Yeah, I haven't been with Magnum quite 2 years now, and I'm at about $84,000 a year. My weekly paycheck averages around $1,500 to $1,800 a week. I don't mind sharing that with you. It ain't rocket science. The way that I make my money is I just run hard. Everybody has the same opportunity.
On again for tomorrow, Tony. You see that?
Oh, talking crap on the radio. Might be something.
They already froze. The bottom ones are froze to the flaps. This is not a good idea to wash potatoes on this cold.
Somebody brought in a load of potatoes. They're frozen to the trailer. Oh well. Turn that reefer on heat. Thaw them out, I guess. Try to unload it tomorrow. Oh no. But anyway, that's kind of my deal about that. You should really be careful when you come into this industry and somebody starts preaching this get-rich-quick scheme. If it sounds like a fantasy, it is. You know, do your math. You know, Magnum pays me anywhere from 54 cents to 59 cents a mile. Then with bonuses, it comes out to 57 cents to 64 cents a mile, depending on what I'm hauling. There's a lot of companies out here that'll pay you after you got just a little experience. They'll pay you 55 cents a mile. The trick is, can you find the company that'll pay you that, that'll put you in a comfortable seat in a high-end truck and give you consistent miles of over 3,000 miles a week. You know, here it is, the 13th of February, and I've already driven 6,600 miles this month. Magnum is consistent with me. I get 13,000 miles month in, month out. It ain't rocket science, folks. If you want to make the money, you got to be willing to run. But this is the plan. Come out here as a company driver. Any company that hires you for the first year is taking a big risk. Because your rookie year, you're going to do something stupid. We've all done things that are stupid. You're highly likely that you're going to damage some equipment. And any company that takes a risk on you during your first year, if they'll give you all the other perks that go with it, it's just kind of unbelievable. Now, some company, you know why most companies want 2 years experience before they start paying you a decent wage? It's not for 2 years experience. They want to know that you can survive 2 winters. You've gone through 2 winters without any accidents and without any violations. You're a pretty decent driver. Now that also depends on where do you drive during those 2 winters. If you're out of Florida or down south out of the Carolinas or down out of South Texas, just because you drive 2 winters, that's not that big of a deal. If you drive for Magnum 2 winters, you're a driver. Okay. I do somewhere between 40 and 50,000 miles a year on the snow and ice. You look at what we're driving. Here, I don't know if I can, see if I can turn this around. Can I turn it around? Maybe not. I'll just pull it out of there. I'll show you what I'm driving on. I'm driving on snowpack. Driving on snowpack. I drive 40, 50,000 miles a year on snow and ice. And I still get my miles. And I train drivers on how to drive on snow and ice. There's some kinds of ice you can drive on. Some kind of ice you can't. You want to know my greatest fears? Freezing fog. Oh man. If it's freezing fog, you better park it. And the other thing is black ice. When you've had precipitation that hit the pavement wet, and then the temperature drops and it freezes and turns to glass, you better park it. But you need to identify where you can run and when you can't run. You saw that last video I posted from this morning. I was running on ice, but I had blowing powder blowing across the ice that was giving me my traction, and I was running 60 miles an hour. Ain't no big deal. one of the reasons why I chose to come to Magnum is because my previous experience, you know, I'd driven in California for a couple years. I'd driven out of Oklahoma for a couple years. I had never driven on ice. I'd never driven on snow. It was my greatest fear in truck driving. And when I was coming back into the industry and I was talking to my insurance agent, you know, and I was talking about just going straight owner op and what the insurance rates were going to do to me my first year out here, I actually kind of sat back on my heels. And it was actually my insurance agent that convinced me to go run with a company for at least a year before I go back and try to get my own authority. 2 years would even be better. So I thought, well, hell, if I'm going to run somebody else's equipment for a year, I want a company that'll let me run pretty much like an owner-op. Give me a pickup date, give me a drop location and an appointment time, give me a truck and a credit card, and other than that, just leave me the hell alone. Just let me run the freight. And that's the kind of seat Magnum is. It's about as close to being an owner-op without any of the responsibilities and the headache. There is no routing. There is no routing for fuel. There's none of the micromanagement. None of that goes on. And they put you in a really nice truck. I'm in a brand new 2019 Peterbilt 579, fully loaded, everything in the dash, touchscreen, entertainment system, premium sound, subwoofers underneath the rack, refrigerator, APU, 2,000 watt converter. I mean, this truck is hooked up. You know, if I'm going to drive like a wild banshee, I want to be comfortable. So this truck has all the amenities. Magnum was my best choice, my number one choice. Back when I hired on with Magnum, you had to have 2 years experience or they wouldn't even talk to you. They've changed that. Magnum has started their own CDL school for the LTL side of the house. We don't do it for the OTR side of the house. You want to run OTR with Magnum, you have to have your CDL before you come here. But we will take a brand new CDL holder, either straight out of school or certified. And Magnum can be your first company. And they don't start out too bad. I'll tell you how they start out a brand new driver that just got their license. They start them out at 38 cents a mile with a guarantee raise of 2 pennies a mile every 2 months. So every other month you get a raise. Until at the end of your first year, you're running at 46 cents a mile plus bonus, which is basically 49 cents a mile. That's at your 1 year mark. So, you're not going to get rich, but they're going to give you an opportunity to make a real decent paycheck, drive the finest equipment. And that's one thing is, you know, when I run into a yard to either drop or pick up, I'm generally in the nicest truck in the yard. Every once in a while there'll be an owner operator that's a little flashy that's got a nicer truck than what I'm sitting in. But that don't happen too often. The other thing is, even though we drag reefer, I'm not exactly sure how they do it. I think that because most of our freight is direct freight. Most of the freight we haul is direct. I don't haul very many broker loads. Once in a great while, if I'm needing to get to a special place, you know, I've requested to go someplace I want to go, and if we don't run that lane, they'll broker a freight load for me to go there. Most of ours is direct freight. And our contract with these shippers must be, I don't know this for a fact, but I would bet that they're charging the shipper $150 an hour better retention because we don't sit. Like I was doing a drop in Colorado, and I was listening to everybody on the radio. This one guy, he said, "Man, I've been sitting here waiting for a door since 11 o'clock yesterday." Had another guy tell me, you know, he's been sitting in the door for 6 hours. And a guy I was talking to inside when I was checking in said he'd been there for 5 hours waiting for a door. I checked in, I got a door, and I was out of there in under an hour. What's the difference? I just don't sit as a normal rule. I did have a mess up at Fort Collins. I come in to pick up a load there, and we had 4 drop trailers in there. Of course, I brought one of them in. And the brewery there, they were supposed to take my trailer and load it for my load, and then me pick. I was supposed to be a drop-in load, but they had already preloaded all the other trailers before I got there. Anyway, that turned out to be a big schism. And then they loaded my trailer with another load that was going somewhere else. So now there wasn't any trailers in the yard to take my load with. You want to know how I handled that? I just called the dispatch and told them that they loaded my trailer with a load going somewhere else. And I just gave them the 4 trailer numbers. And I said, okay, which one of these is going closest to Fargo, North Dakota? Because I got to go pick up a trainee. And they said, well, I don't know how to look it up that way just yet. Hold on, I'll give you a call back. And then they called back and said, okay, this trailer number, da-da-da-da-da, is going to Minot, North Dakota. We'll run you up there, drop that load. Then deadhead down here to Jamestown, grab us a load there and drop it in the Fargo yard for us. That way you'll be back here Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So I just grabbed a different load than what I was actually dispatched. And that's another thing, is when you're out here, even though I will tell you 95% of the time, man, we are in and out of the door, everything works like clockwork, but every once in a while a shipper will throw a wrench in the frickin' operation of things. So you got to be willing to be a little flexible when a problem arises and figure out how to overcome it, come up with a different solution. Because you are out here running on your own, and they don't know what's going on in the office unless you call and tell them. But they do take good care of us, so really happy with this company. My plan when I come back in the industry was come in here, do a year, 2 years tops, and go straight owner-op at that time. And I'm going to tell you that they're making that decision tough with me. And I actually have a interview with the owner of the company here next month after I get back from vacation. I want to talk to me about some other opportunities with the company. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Oh wow, I've run this video 24 minutes. Be careful who you listen to out there on YouTube. There's a lot of guys talking smack and talking like they're the expert, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Be careful. Be careful who you listen to. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, y'all have a great day. God bless each and every one of you, man. What's there to enjoy life? Life should be a blast. Having a great time. Remember, you too can change the world. All you gotta do, just be nice to each other. Bye-bye.